Good night. Some of you have reached out to me about this case with the young lady with the drugs. I think she was in court today. I'm not going to have too much to say on this because I really haven't done too much research on the case, but I know I can say one thing. CBC officers can't say it, but I'm going to say it. You guys must be reeling with smoke coming through your noses and your ears from the outcome of this case. I can only imagine if this was a Caymanian, respectfully, without disrespecting the court or the overseer of the case, the magistrate of the case. I've read some of the comments that were made by the magistrate in court, and I applaud those comments and those observations, and that's all I'm going to say in that regard. But the final outcome, number one, like I said, CBC is probably reeling at the outcome of this case, a fine of only $2,000 and something. That is preposterous. Number two, if it was a Caymanian for those kinds of drugs, they would have probably more than likely gotten a prison sentence. They would have gotten, if even suspended, right? And fines would have been totaling more than that. These are hardcore drugs, right? And then if it was a Caymanian, that person would have been fired on the spot or even fired after the fact. This is, we have 3 attorneys sitting in the House. We need to do something about these drugs. CBC worked very, very hard to bring these cases to court. I don't know how many of you have seen the quantity and types of drugs that were bought in and the excuses that were used, and only a fine of over $2,000 and a conviction recorded. I bet you she'll still have her job. A bartending job that a Caymanian can do. I know many young Caymanians, many Caymanians, period, that would do a bartending job. And we bring in somebody on a work permit to do a bartending job and bring in hard drugs and making excuses, lame excuses. And if it was a Caymanian, they would have gotten fined, suspended, sentence, conviction recorded. Probably a 6 months suspended sentence. Or 6 months. I don't understand. Voters, April is coming up. Make sure you know your candidates, that they're going to go into the House, whether it's some that are already there and going to be returned or they're going to be new candidates. You want people that are going to work for you, going to work for CBC, to make sure that when they do these jobs, that they work so hard to bring these people to justice, that it's not such a minimal loss. And such a minimal loss to someone who's non-Caymanian, if it was a Caymanian, it would have been something different. Caymanians, you have to start speaking up to get these tariffs changed, to get these laws changed, to get better justice to come out, because there should be no differentiation between Caymanians getting these sorts of cases. Guys, I am so frustrated by this case. When I read it, it come like the other few cases that we had a few months ago with the guns and the ammunition and the other things that have been going on. CBC, keep doing the job that you're doing. You're doing a great job. Administratively, that is out of your hands. All you can do is make recommendations and suggestions and keep doing your job and hoping that the powers that be, and I'm not throwing the government under the bridge, I'm just generalizing and saying, administratively, it's outside of CBC's hands. We have to reward them for doing a better job. We have to bridge that gap between Caymanians and other people who come before the courts for the same offenses, and make sure that there's no distinction there. The only distinction is credit for guilty pleas, first-time offenses, and those like-minded situations there. Not because you're here on a work permit and this is your first time coming to the Cayman Islands, you might have forgot you bringing these kind of drugs because you forgot to come on, guys, you really need to get this case and read it. Caymanians, you guys need to stand up. Honestly, you really stop mimicking. Get some up here and push it out there because you have it. And only that one power that you have is that vote. If you don't want to vote, don't go. Nobody goes to the polls, and let the candidates see that you mean business, because something has to change in this country for our people, our young people, and our middle-aged working class people are getting left behind because of these types of situations when they go to court. When they go to court, these spent convictions periods are destroying lives. They're keeping our people incapacitated. So I may come back around again about this case and some other cases, because some of you had reached out to me about this case today. Look at the drugs come on. THC products. Did the person even have a medical marijuana card? $2,000 and something in fines. And no cost ordered for the prosecution. So government lost in that regard also, as well as CBC. I don't know what else to say, honestly. Guys, you got to listen. Some of you can put together your propositions and take them to your MPs. Right? The more the merrier. Start petitions. I know people have to be in the house to care about what's affecting their people, right? But the people need to be able to show them this is what needs to change. Don't vent it all on social media. Don't vent it all on WhatsApp. And if they don't want to listen to you all, go into the government house and make appointments. I'm laughing, but it's not a laughing matter. Caymanians, wake up and see what's happening. Wake up and see what's happening. You all have a voice. We might be small in numbers, but we're loud in voices. If that was your cousin, your brother, your uncle, your sister, somebody, you know what would happen to that person for importing such? They would get locked up, fired. $2,000 something fine. It wasn't going to work like that for a Caymanian. They weren't going to get suspended. They were going to get fired. This person was brought in on a work permit paid for by the employer. Right? Accommodations provided by the employer. Dream job of a bartender, when that could be a Caymanian working in that job. I know 5 Caymanians right now who are great bartender, hospitable bartenders. 5 just off the top of my head. Guys, wake up. Seriously. You got to open your mouth and speak about these issues in this country. We are at a pivotal point. And you need to speak now more than ever. Start from tomorrow. Start from tonight. Get on WhatsApp. Get on your MP's pages. All those groups that you all on. Nobody won't add me into any group. I don't know why. But all those groups that you guys are on. Make it known how you feel about these issues. We're not bashing immigrants, We're not bashing immigrants. That's not what I'm doing. We're putting it out there to say Caymanians need priority in the judicial system and in anywhere else. And when CBC does a lot of hard work, long hours, they're away from their families, conducting these interviews, monitoring these flights, long hours that they're tired and exhausted having to do these investigations, and only to go away with that type of outcome of a case. How does that make our country look? That's why people keep coming in here like this, doing this stuff. Because this is Cayman, and you get a little slap on the wrist if you're a visitor, or you're not a Caymanian, you're not from here, you get a little slap on the wrist. Oh, I'm going to my dream job. I'm sorry to be venting like this, but I have my people messaging and calling me about this issue. And it's not fair. You think you can go to Jamaica or Cuba or anywhere else in the Caribbean or wherever that is similar to us? Of course, you can go to the US and get away with it. You can go to the UK and Canada because they have a high percentage influx of immigrants. So there's really not too much distinction there about who are natives and who are ancestral, who are generational or whatever, or Caymanians, right? It's not about Caymanians against immigrants, but the fact is it is about Caymanians in our small minority being treated unfairly in every way possible. Imagine the Caymanian CBC officers that are there. Can't say a thing because they're civil servants. And they work so hard to maintain our borders crime-free, to keep illicit drugs, unauthorized drugs out of our borders. And this is the repayment they get. Guys, you got to stand up and say something. All you all who messaging and calling me about this, make sure you talk to your MPs. Vent. Not on social media pages, on other people's pages. Your MPs. I know the MPs aren't going to like me saying this, but that's the fact that they're going to be singing a different song in another couple of months, right? But that's what they're voted in there for. Respectfully, all MPs, I respect every one of you all, but we're all from one cloth. We're all Caymanians. And we voted you guys in there. I'm not talking about just the sitting government. I'm talking about all MPs, all 19 of you. Have a good night, everybody, and thank you.